Hey, it's Sol with news updates and analyses, and today is my second go with the news of the past week that individually isn't really worth reporting, but by now I guess it's enough. Two comics so far have been released by Dark Horse Comics, Fault Lines and Twilight of Suramar. These comics are part of a series that'll help introduce the story of Legion to players who have not been on the beta, or haven't read MMO Champion's newsfeed, or worse, its forums. The comics have a unique style to them if you're into special comics that have sound effects and musical cuts. Whether you're into it or not, they're short and they're free, so take a look through the links in the description below. The team at Nostalria's, the largest WoW private server that was closed a few months ago, released an 81-page post-mortem document detailing their methodologies, management, and organization. You can see it for yourself in the link in my description. Interestingly enough, survey details were part of the document, including this one, which normally would be a pretty stark view of the current state of WoW. But considering that the survey was filled out by private server players in the first place, it makes me wonder just how biased the survey is, which their team does disclose at a minimum. I mean, the whole nature behind playing on this type of private server is because the current game isn't to your satisfaction, right? After Brian Halinka's Q&A last Thursday, players felt pretty empty after hearing so few questions were answered by the designer. A few of the more outstanding questions were answered in the official forums. On the flip side, yesterday's Order Hall and Artifact Q&A with Craig Amai fielded far more questions, and while there have been numerous changes and reiterations lately, there were virtually no new revelations for players who have been keeping up. Links to Brian's follow-up questions and Craig's interview are also in the description. If you haven't noticed, the Battle.net client may have started the background download process for the Legion pre-expansion patch. It's roughly 20 gigs large, so make sure you have enough space available. Meanwhile, the launch of the patch itself looks like it's slipping further and further away from the expected July 19th date. Because the pre-expansion content is meant to be released in timed stages though, it's likely that whenever the patch is deployed, it'll have been done exactly as planned. Also good though that by the time I post this video, a date will be announced and I'll provide an annotation below describing my rage. With the patch are some additional changes. Going forward, North American, Latin American, and Oceanic realms will be considered merged regarding matchmaking tools, which should be interesting for multilinguals and less interesting for racists. Also, this newly merged region will share a new daily reset time, which will occur at 8 AM Pacific, ahead of the current time of 3 AM Pacific. This week, a very clever social engineering hack was uncovered that could potentially rob players of all their gold. Users are tricked into entering certain scripts that give client control to the attacker, who uses the now affected user to attack others without their notice. As a PSA, don't listen to anyone in-game who asks you to enter a script into your chat window, even those you trust. If you're in that sort of situation though, use a more verifiable method of communication like voice chat over a different program. Mythic dungeons, cause I'll call them whatever I want until there's an official term, have had their mechanics tweaked a bit with one of particular note. In an upcoming build, every death during a Mythic run will incur a 5-second penalty to the team's clear time. This is to help discourage edge case scenarios where teams can die and a stealth healer can sneak past the pack to resurrect the team and cut down on time. It's hard to tell how big of an impact a few seconds will be versus a minute or so of combat, but considering the fact that extreme Mythic runs are a front-facing feature of Legion, any changes will be met with a lot of scrutiny. Blizzard teamed up with Twitch streamers to hold an interesting beta key giveaway event. Players took screenshots of certain demon types, tweeted them to a specific streamer, and would randomly be chosen to receive a beta key. The intent is all well and good until we recall that streamers might receive the Blizzard nod, but not exactly the Blizzard paycheck. Complaints about the event touched on corruption and laziness in part of the streamers, and there was a penis. Hopefully there were a good number of players who received keys fairly and weren't just loyal donors or subscribers to these channels. And just like last week, I'm going to talk about the final subject a little bit longer than the rest. In this case, streamers. My just talking about them is supporting their existence, and you'll see what I mean by the end. Like everything in the world, there are a few opinions on streamers. You're a fan, you hate them, or you simply respect and accept their existence. Big-time streamers are kind of a celebrity of sort. They make money. Complete strangers know, love, and or hate them. But they're not quite like celebrities either. They're sort of normal people like you and I, doing things they enjoy in front of a camera in real time. Hey, it's Sol, and I'm a pre-recorded video. I script and jump cut, obviously. Streaming is a less regulated media since it's totally live. Of course, people can put up an act or a persona as well, but in my opinion, streaming is as genuine as it gets when it comes to just observing people in front of a camera. And obviously, people dig that. Blizzard and other companies use these personalities as advertising, and I'll refer back to this recent beta key event. People were pretty upset about how some of the streamers treated participants and the event itself. The specifics on that aren't important, but what is the continued debate on how much emphasis and preference Blizzard seems to give to these personalities. After all, they're consistently on the first rounds of invites for betas like Legion and Overwatch. They're used for events such as these when there are also websites like Wowhead and MMO Champion that also reach a very large audience. Streamers, at least on the surface, don't represent anyone but themselves, so they're a double-edged sword when it comes to hype and buzz. They can get viewers excited about something or start off a call to arms movement that may or may not be fueled by confusion or misinformation. So the question is, why use them? They seem to generate negative buzz even when used for good intentions, so what makes them worthwhile? I'm sure you have an idea already, or already know what I'm going to say, but here goes anyway. Streams are just one of the many legs that hold up the gargantuan space of marketing and advertising. Throughout the past 20 or so years, marketing has changed at a pace faster than it's ever been, mostly thanks to increasing internet speeds and the cheap consumer technology to take advantage of it. Once upon a time in the days of Bill Clinton, Boyz II Men, and Pogs, video game advertising came in the form of gimmicks like Happy Meal toys and monthly magazine subscriptions. And unless you're Nintendo or Sega, the industry just wasn't rich enough to really get into TV advertising as it is now. These methods were slow and expensive, requiring production and distribution deals that typically don't yield much return. Today's advertisement is much more effective, and with streamers it just takes an email to a willing agent, fill them in with some criteria and a date, and cut them loose. Money might be involved, but this sort of relationship is symbiotic. Streamers do the heavy lifting for Blizzard in exchange for being acknowledged by the international, multi-billion-dollar company. And they're very effective to fans who enjoy the streams. They're a laser-target audience that Blizzard didn't even have to lift a finger to identify, aside from doing a search on streamers who stream WoW. This type of marketing is also effective on people who don't like streams, and even better if they're vocal about it. Streamers being sort of normal people strikes a chord. They're relatable. It'd be great to make a living as one, and not everyone's gonna make it there. I probably won't make it there. And that creates a strange emotional attachment. Oh, I don't like what's-his-face because he sucks. Wait, who? What'd he do? He hosted some stupid WoW beta key event thing, and he don't even know how to play. He hella sucks. What beta key event? What's his name again? Having a positive outlook isn't the ultimate goal of modern advertising. It's relevance and engagement. Like, I'm talking about them. Get it? No. That's it for this week's news, and I hope you guys are digging these kind of short digests followed by the quick analysis. Please, oh please, leave a like and a sub if you enjoy the content, and let me know what else I can do. I mean, maybe when I get more subs, I'll start a Patreon so I can make more than the, I think, $10 total I've made in the past 7 months, yeah? Anyway, I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys.